Hi guys! So many people were already waiting that I felt bad, so I went ahead and started the live so we can get this party started. Already 27 people on. You guys just blow me away. You're so awesome. I think I'll have to mess with the lighting because I'm a little white. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Getting it all set up for the man. $70 people on. Jonathan, Rusty from Las Vegas. Oh, Jonathan, I'm so glad that you're here. All right. I'm trying to get it up. Hi, Road Lion and Elizabeth and John. Yes, it has been a busy day. Hi, Rob. Hi, Diana Beck. Yes, Road Lion, we will clarify stuff once JJ gets in here. Hi, Daniel. So glad that you guys are on today. I hope that you had a great weekend. Actually, for my stuff, I did no work this weekend. I was supposed to, but I kind of took the whole weekend off, and it felt great. Hi, Scott and John, another first timer. I'm so excited. Yes, it has been a crazy day with PPP. Hi, Carlos. Oh, John, you called the SBA today. Did you actually get to talk to anybody? Hi, Steven or Stefan. Hi, Tony and Clay. Clay's in the house. Yeah, I did. I have heard that the EIDL is not up. I've also heard that they're actually working through old applications first before they're opening it. So crazy stuff. Yeah, I have. We do all know that nothing is up as it sits right now. The man of the hour just went and got all dapper for you guys. Hi, Tracy. Darkwater Megs is on. What's up, Jason? Rusty's on from Las Vegas. Here we go. Is Joyce on? Hot Rods. Hot Rods is on, and Homer Dog. I'm getting things. Hi, Mary. Hi, Natalie. Gluten tag. All right, I'm getting things. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm trying to get things set up here for Josh or for JJ. I call him Joshua, so it's very hard for me to sometimes call him JJ. Howdy. All right, he is ready, so he's coming on. I would play a song for you guys, but I don't have one, so yeah, you're ready.
Ready?
You are ready.
How's everybody doing today? Holy moly, I'm like completely white right here. Do we have any?
Now,
wait,
I'll fix it in
to
just
block?
a second.
Okay, I'm gonna fix that in just a minute.
Set up.
We have from, did Joyce say she was on?
I haven't heard from Joyce.
Joyce from
Hawaii
has sent us some spectacular masks. And so we're very thankful for that. Joyce also sent us, Daryl, what's going on? Daryl Dugan, CPA. So welcome everybody. It is Monday, the 27th. Yeah, we will get to that. Monday, the 27th. John Hamilton, I appreciate that. Jonathan Meyer, John, good to see everybody.
Jonathan's first time here.
Oh, perfect. Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jesse, California IA. Wow, we got Daniel, CPA. Jason, what's going on? Greg from Alabama. Roll Tide. And we got Jason, and let's see, Rabidi, and let's see, Tiffany P. Received her t-shirt. Sid Tip, Blair, Ken, you guys are so sweet. ND, Jean's there, Elizabeth, Virginia, Hot Rods, and let's see, wow, we already got 171. Well, Clay, what's up? Augie?
All right, just a reminder for everybody that's here and for all of our new people, welcome. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. JJ goes live every single day, Monday through Friday. This week it'll be from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. It will only be 1 hour. But make sure that you guys give thumbs up. That is just another way for you to give back for all the useful free information that JJ is giving you guys.
Blair, how are you? Has anybody seen, the SBA,
it's not open.
the EIDL still as of the last minute, right?
Yep, they've saying they're working on the applications that were
Still,
in queue.
Okay. Well, let's see, Willie D got his PPP money, Gene McIntyre, Apollo, Mickey, Dre 1979, John, Tiffany P. Okay, Tiffany P saying still, Sean, exclamation mark. All right, Anthony, I'm glad. Jason, Deepwater Megs, any word from your bank, my friend? Called SBA, EIDL, still not up. We got Anthony and Mary. Let's see, John, nothing yet. Well, listen, so here's what we're gonna do. John, in queue, good. Well, let me know when Deepwater's Megs comes in. We wanna give out a special shout out to a number of people. We do have over here stuff that's going out.
Jason says E-Train still down.
We've got mail that's getting ready to go out. Okay, and we the gal that was going to, we've got a few boxes going out. The gal from my office had to go get a root canal today, and so we had everything ready to go. She was going to come by and pick it up, get it to the post office. That didn't happen, but we've got for Homer Dog, I spent some time on this one for Mr. Brad Johnson, CPA, and he's officially now our producer. This weekend we're thinking of some ideas on how to move forward and make sure we have maybe a little bit more organized show. Amanda and I had gone through and kind of talked about what could we do each day, how do we want to make sure everybody's staying engaged, and then Brad had that CPA sense, which is stronger than Spidey sense, and sent a wonderful email yesterday with some great suggestions. But anyways, we've got this here. It's a box. It's a Harry and David box, but I've taped it neatly. I probably spent a good 10 minutes taping this up, making sure it gets there A-okay. And then we've got other mail that's going out, and we've got a bunch of koozies. So that should all go out tomorrow. And I mean, do you think I can say the dollar amount? Someone sent me a $1,000 check as a thank you, a fellow CPA, and I was just touched. Matt, we won't in case, you know, and a retired CPA that came in and helped out. What did he call his score clients? I love that terminology. But anyways, thank you so much for that. We have sent you something special as well. And then we got sent, I guess it came really in the mail today, but from, look at this, isn't that cool? Like, I just love this. It just takes me back, right? You've got this brown and Joyce all the way from Hawaii. I mean, are you kidding me? So Joyce, I don't know if Joyce is on, but she's the one that brought us the masks. We've got 2 masks, and look at, they're 2-sided. So we could be matchy match.
We can.
Or we can go out.
Yeah.
And it was so kind of her. And this is, so my late stepfather, this was his ultimate favorite. and they're expensive, but these are legit straight from Hawaii. Joyce, thank you so much. And she wrote such a wonderful note. Had Amanda in tears.
It did.
And she's even choked up right now. And then from Downey, from Tennessee, we got a couple of t-shirts from Mountain Fitness, and we sent them one. Yes, Mountain Fitness from Mountain City, Tennessee, which these are very smart. We just opened them up. I was like, oh, we should have tried to put these on. Maybe on Friday. So a couple of shirts here. So appreciative of that. Very generous. Who else? Who else we giving a shout out to?
Let's see. We got Rusty Shackelford on. He said those are awesome.
Yes.
And if you guys do have questions, make sure that you're emailing them to jj@jjthecpahelp.com. We will try to get to them. I can't promise if you email a question today that it's going to get answered today. Most likely it'll get answered tomorrow, but please send them there. So,
Well, and I think what we're going to try and do is, I'm sorry, were you done?
Yeah.
What we're going to try and do is really try and push the questions to the emails, just from the standpoint of the ones that are having the opportunity to send the email, we can more thoughtfully think of the answer. I put out a lot of videos, and actually Brad, our producer, had pointed out that a lot of the questions that I'm answering, I've done videos on. And so, I have for the PPP, I have a PPP self-employed playlist, and then I have just a PPP playlist. I have a PPP forgiveness playlist. I've got a playlist on the tax credits, a playlist on unemployment, and things to that effect. And so it might be better to sometimes go ahead and provide that. So like Cash Corey right now just had a quick question, and so go to my playlist, and then on my website, Brad was also pointing out, because I kind of forget, I do spend a lot of time putting together this website, jjthecpahelp.com. It's a community service website, so to speak. I really just put it together. I was just putting some spreadsheets on there to be able to have another another bank be able to send their clients to and be able to get to it. And it's grown and it's grown and it's grown. So I'm quite excited about that. But that way too, when you send your emails, some of them we may just reply and let you know that, hey, here's a playlist to go to. Because in some ways now that, thanks to you all, this is so exciting and fun and wonderful. I'm loving it. But we are just getting inundated. And from the standpoint of just being able to get to everybody, it's getting harder and harder. I still have emails that I haven't even been able to check. I've also got to make sure I'm checking my clients' emails. So, but let me tell you this. Here's something that's interesting, is that today we know that we are allowing, or I shouldn't say we are allowing, PPP, SBA is allowing new applications to go in for PPP2. We know we've got another $310 billion. Of that, $60 billion has been set aside for the smaller banks. That'd be $30 billion for the credit unions, $30 billion for the smaller banks. And someone had sent me a list and indicated that I think for just the smaller bank ones for the $30 billion, there's only 100 banks technically, or that seem to be on that list. I was talking with Josh Jelinski over the weekend, and we were just talking about PPP and different banks and how they're interacting. And the smaller banks, I think, will be finding a little bit of a niche, because a day or two or three or four from now, I bet there's still money being able to be allocated over to the smaller. And so I would probably say, if you've already now got yourself in the queue with somebody, then the goal is to really stay after them. And so I've had, 4 clients that 3 of them had decided, you know what, I think I want to go ahead and do this PPP because I'm going to be out longer than I thought here. And then one of them just provided their documents like the day that it ran out, and they just were not on top of it even though they had everything. But anyways, those 4 have already been submitted by the man, my banker, and they've already been approved, and they'll probably be funded tomorrow or the next day. So they've been approved by the SBA, so I'm glad for that. So hopefully, did Jason say if he heard anything from Deepwater Megs on that yesterday? But you know what's interesting? So I've got a client of mine that they are in a set of circumstances where, as they're putting together now the return, right? They're looking at, okay, we're getting ready to open back up. What I think a lot of people were missing on the PPP, kind of the intention of it, was that your employees didn't have to go on unemployment. And they're now not having to go from unemployment back to as an employee. And as they're now putting together all of the clients I'm working with, I was just like, you're not letting your employees go on unemployment, period, the end. That's not what this is all about. Yeah. So they have not. And so as they're now putting together the plan, because in Oklahoma, it's, you know, I know it's different everywhere, but some places could be opened last Friday. We have more that are going to be open on Monday. Another sector of business open on May 15th. So as they're now putting together their plans to open back up, they're so thankful that when they hit this Friday, they're not having to work through how do we bring the employees back on unemployment. But check this out. Let's see, Darkwater said. What they're in, the situation that they're in now is that these employees are so thankful because the employees are realizing that in Oklahoma, that $600 has not kicked in, not at least from anybody I've known. I know on the self-employed, we could do pre-application, not we, I didn't, but you could do a pre-application. I did talk to somebody Friday and they said, well, no, I'm pretty sure, you know, our friend of ours was getting the 600. Anyways, that did not get paid out. So these employees maybe that were wanting to go on unemployment might be big losers on it because the money may not pay in time and now the businesses are going to open back up. And I think it's going to work out okay for the most part. So for instance, with this client, they were able to know that the money was coming because they got approved. They were able to get those dollars coming in. They were able to keep everybody on payroll, keep everybody interested. The employer then, you know, my client didn't feel bad asking them to do some work from home. And then they were able to, as they're starting to go, okay, hey, we're going to open back up. Everybody was just cohesive. And I think that that's where the PPP is really going to help, is that the companies that were able to use it the way that it was intended versus some of the employees that kind of took it out of the employer's hands and then just went rogue. I think that these employees are not only thankful to be still employed, but the employers are still able to have some seamless action as they're opening back up. You know, and I did a video yesterday and I was talking about if you're getting ready to go back, things are going to be different, obviously. What did you do during the time you were out in terms of were you making adjustments to be able to conduct business, take care of your customers? And are you just going to give that all up, or can you now incorporate it? I did hear from a couple of people. Tony sent me a text, but I did hear from a couple of people that had, you know, been able to listen to that video and got some positive feedback on it. But, you know, from my perspective, I think that we'll all have a sense of more thankfulness. I think we'll all have a sense of cinching it up a little bit. But I also think that as we get back into the regular aspect of doing business, so I think what we want to probably be thinking about this week is what I put in that video yesterday, which is, okay, you're getting ready to open, whether that's in a week or 2 or 3. So what's it going to look like? Because it probably isn't going to be the same. First of all, people are going to be walking in doing this. First of all, you know, in that aspect, how does that affect your business in any way, shape, or form? Do you need to make sure you have these for your employees, et cetera? So, I mean, just starting with that, it's going to be different, right? So if you know that you've had this pause, what could be different about your business? So I think what you all want to focus in on this week is getting ready for the pre-launch, right? The pre-launch being really probably the week that you're open. You know how businesses start and they'll have like a soft opening and then a grand opening? Well, probably the first week you're in business, you're gonna have in essence the soft opening, because it's still gonna be people that are like, well, should I go out? You know, maybe I don't need to. There's gonna be a little bit of haphazard of when consumers are out, because some people are going back to work, so those people aren't gonna be out during the day. Some people haven't gone back out to work, but they are just gonna stay home. So, you know, the first week that we're back, no matter what your business is, whether it's mid-May or into June, be thinking about how do you want it to look different? What do you want differently from your employees? Did you learn something about maybe some of your employees that you didn't think you knew before? And I know that it's, you know, all for one, one for all, but then when employees make a position that they want to do something differently, how did they go about that? How have your customers interacted with you? How is your pricing, right? Are you charging enough? These are things that you need to be looking at. In another video yesterday, just talking about your numbers and looking at the general ledger. So from my perspective, I think as we're now going into, we're opening up in some way, shape, or form in the next 30 days to 45 days. So what is that gonna look like? You know, we have the AAA baseball team for the Oklahoma City Dodgers here, which I'm a huge Dodger fan. I'm 4th generation Dodger fan. My son, obviously, 5th generation Dodger fan, thank goodness. But as we are hitting May 15th, they're gonna open up sporting events around here, which is good news for my son as well, who's playing baseball. And in essence, the season got canceled for high school, so now we know we have summer baseball. So what's that gonna look like? Because I think we've been out long enough that guess what? Your consumers may not even really remember how it used to be. Your employees may not really remember how it used to be. You may not even really remember. I did a video 3 weeks ago where I encourage small business owners, get back into your place of business. Okay, so it's closed down. Go walk it. Go open it. Go look in every closet and every office. Sit there for a minute. Maybe make a phone call from the phone. Start to wear it. Talk to your management team and figure out what needs to get done. So we know that EIDL is a very small portion compared to PPP, but now also looking at what dollars did you get, okay? Did you get PPP dollars or did you not? Did you get EIDL? Did you not? What other assistance? Are you gonna take care of credits? Solve that this week. I did another series of videos. I stayed up like 3 o'clock in the morning and not that I'm doing them for views per se, but I was like, why did I stay up till 3 a.m.? Because each one's got, 800 views on it,
Right.
which I love it. And I already got some nice response from those like you that are tuning in, which I really appreciate. But anyways, I did a get to know your numbers, and you need to this week as well. Where are you gonna be in 3 weeks, right? What are you gonna be cash flow wise, whether you're a business owner or an employee? Where are you at? Okay, where are you behind? What can you decide that you need to, like what vendors do you need to contact? What customers do you need to contact? I was talking with Josh Jelinski over the weekend, and he's got his own radio show on Saturday and Sunday out of New York, WOR, and then WABC on the iHeartRadio. Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. And, part of what he and I were talking about is getting back in front of your customers. Justin McAuliffe, CPA JMac, you can follow him on Instagram. He and I were talking, and we're kind of game planning on Friday about getting back in. We partner up on a couple of things, and how do we get back into this? Customers are going to be calling and saying, hey, where's my returns? And so anyways, talking with Josh and then separately talking with Justin, really what it comes down to is getting in front of your customer, getting in front of your employees, putting together what is the game plan. Are you going to have a soft opening from the standpoint of, you may have been out long enough that it's almost like, what's that password again? How do I jimmy that back lock there? You know, how is it that we do this on the cash register again when this gets, right? So it's going to be kind of a soft opening. And then I think probably 4 weeks from now, we're going to see that the economy hopefully is back rocking and a rolling. But then guess what? We're into summer. What's your summer look like? So I'm going to be talking this week about the importance of your numbers. I want you to be thinking about what did last summer look like? Because this summer is going to be different from the standpoint of you're coming out of all of this. But then sometimes summers are very different. When I was talking with, again, Justin and Josh, you know, they're up in the Northeast and, you know, in these coastal communities, summer's everything. So what was last summer looking like? You know, for a CPA firm, usually the summer, right, collections are down, work is down. Well, it's going to be completely the opposite, most likely, because we have a July 15th deadline from attorneys and things like to that effect. So you want to be planning from that standpoint. So tell us what Jason said from Deep Waters, and maybe make sure you're speaking up a little bit. So if you don't mind, Jason sent me this wonderful, keepsake. I'm sure if it fell, nothing would happen to it. But anyways, we have been so interested, but Jason, Deepwater Mags, and he has an Instagram.
He does.
That
yes,
everybody should check out. Megalodon shark's tooth right here, right? This is a dinosaur's shark tooth, okay? But anyways, with Jason, he had sent us right away. It had to be hours after he put in his application. He sent this wonderful note and had boxed this up and sent this to us. And it was a box of hope of, I got my PPP in. Thank you, JJ. You know, it was a thank you for from afar helping in the process, and put his application in. He was first. He had to be one of the first, right? Because he had it there. I think he had his stuff ready to go on the 2nd, so it had to be ready to go first thing Friday morning, April 3rd. And I still haven't been to the office. I hadn't even followed my own advice. Oh, you're right. Okay.
I have.
You have? I haven't?
You haven't been there at all.
Jeez. I need to go. I need to get there. Anyway, so Jason sends us a message and said, hey, I mailed you something. And it was probably a couple of weeks. And so anyways, office has been closed. So anyways, we got up there. I guess you went and got it. And we got it back. We opened it, this beautiful letter. Amanda's really touched by it. And at the end of the day, we get an email back from Jason. And he says, well, thank you for the help and thank you for your wonderful email. And I'm glad that you got everything. But I didn't get the funding that he had just heard that day. It was the day after, or the day the funding ran out, and the bank said he didn't get the funding. And of course, that caused me to do a call to action and wanting to do tweets, and I did some videos. And I know that those that are really involved with what we're doing, looked at it. A number of people, Mike in Simi Valley, I had another tax advisor out of Dallas, a number of others that sent me their emails to say, hey, here's something that I sent, or here's a copy, or here was my response. And so I think all of us had a little bit of say in that, but it was kind of because of Jason. And but with that being said, Jason did then, I think he was already doing this. He wasn't doing it because of me, but Jason was doing exactly what I was recommending, which is get after finding a different bank. Okay, get in. 14 banks he called. Has another situation lined up, hopefully, that will work out at another bank. But when I was talking with Josh this weekend, Ian and I ended up talking like for hours. We even were watching this. We're watching this reality show on Prime TV. called Making the Cut, and it's about these, kind of, fashion designers that are kind of already making a name for themselves, or have already done something big time, with Adidas or something. Anyways, we've gotten hooked on it. And part of the reason we started watching it, we were like, you know what, we need to, for our reality show, which we're going to talk a little bit about, we need to watch some reality shows and how do they piece this together? How do they make it interesting? Because I don't want to talk for 15 minutes and then people aren't there for the next scene. But anyways, from the standpoint of Making the Cut, we are watching it. Josh Jelinski calls. It's like 8 o'clock at night. He and I are talking. And some of the banks are saying that they did it as a random and that's where some of that came into play. So I don't know if that's what happened with Jason at his bank that he was at originally with PPP1. Because Josh Jelinski had talked about how he came across a number of people similar to Jason that had put the application in early had a SBA number, and then didn't get the funding. And so the banks were saying, or some of them, like, well, we did it randomly. Well, the law in the SBA calls for first come, first serve basis, period. So hopefully Jason is at a bank that is following the first come, first serve basis. Reality shows are scripted. I know, Glenda, you're right. But, hopefully with where Jason is, they're going to do first come, first serve on that. So who else we got to do some shout outs to?
Well, I wanted to tell you what Jason said.
Oh, okay.
He said the E-Train's still down.
Say it louder.
He said the E-Train's still down, and his banker's been trying to get in all day. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
The E-Train, is that what he called it?
E-Train, yeah.
The E-Train.
E-Train's still down. Banker has my application and is waiting for the SBA portal to be back up.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So.
Well, then Jason, it's probably not then just you. It's got to be everybody.
Yeah, everybody's been saying that same thing.
Oh, even on the PPP? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is why I love going live, because we get the feedback from everybody on kind of what's going on. So what else?
All right, and once we have 218 people on, make sure that you are giving us some thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate it. It's just a small way for you to give back to JJ for all the information he's giving you. Also, please make sure that you are subscribed if you are here. And so now we are going to move into questions from the email.
From the email, and I'm kind of looking here at some of the questions where I can. A couple of things here that maybe if we'll see how much we can tackle at the end. Because really what we're wanting to do is send an email, because I mean, if you're seeing here, there's so many that are going through, and then we have Julio and Kenda and Diana and Tina, and sometimes even Clay, helping with answering questions that are in between. And so send us an email, and you can send it right now, jj@jjthecpahelp.com, and just copy and paste what you just did. We'll see if we can answer it. If not, then hopefully we'll be able to answer it tomorrow. So email us, jj@jjthecpahelp.com. All right.
All right, our first question is coming from Alice. I have two small businesses with no other employees. One is a sole proprietor registered in the state of New Jersey where I live. The other is a single member LLC registered in the state of Delaware. The LLC in Delaware was established 4/19 with no profits. I was approved for the PPP in New Jersey sole proprietorship business. I listed the LLC as another business and submitted a Schedule C line 31 for 19. EIDL for New Jersey business is still pending. Filing for EIDL for Delaware LLC on Monday. Does other income disqualify you for PUA such as pensions? Should I apply for PUA? If yes, which state or with both states for each company? Thank you again for all your assistance.
Well, you bet. So the thing on the PUA, make a quick note here. Let's see. On the PUA, that's supposed to be related to the unemployment, right? So that's the unemployment assistance. That is a federal program. So I know you're listing the different states where you've applied and things to that effect. And to the extent of you getting PPP funds, especially, that's really meant to be, in my opinion, a replacement for the wages that you're losing. Now, I understand that there could be some that maybe didn't pay themselves wages out of their S Corp. Saw a quick question here from somebody saying, hey, do wages to the owners count? And I've heard both things. I've read it in the law and I've read the IRS, and I'm not seeing anywhere where that's disallowed. An S Corp owner is disallowed from the ERC. I could see where maybe it could be, but I haven't read anything that's saying that. But it seems as though I'm reading enough about it that somewhere it must be indicated. So we're going to have to just look at that. I've got a video. I'm waiting until PPP 2 is done, and then I've already been making notes, thanks to Tom, to doing an email about the ERC called Where Are We Now? And from the perspective, though, of the PUA, the ERC, as related also to the PPP and the EIDL. So EIDL, most of the time, is going to be, if you're getting a PPP especially, for expenses that are not related to PPP. So not employment related, not health insurance, okay, not rent or utilities. So restaurants are a great candidate for EIDL. And then when you're looking at PPP, okay, if you're a sole proprietor, I think that you have to really look carefully, how much did you qualify for? And unofficially, maybe if you only qualified for $1,200, does that really gonna last you 8 weeks? Probably not. Is that gonna last you a couple of weeks? Well, compared to the PUA, could. So what I've been surprised by, I was helping a friend last week apply for PUA as a self-employed individual, and what they had indicated when they had gone through and did the application, there was no questions about PPP, which surprised me. There were no questions about EIDL, which didn't necessarily surprise me. But I do think when you're talking about the PUA, that you have to look at it as it's not just another source of money to go into your business, okay? PUA is about the money for the employee, the money in essence for the owner. So if you're an S Corp and you're not going to get very much because you didn't pay yourself much wage, then you probably qualify for the PUA. But if in your S Corp you're paying yourself a pretty decent wage, then I don't see how you can apply for the PUA. So where the trickiness comes on the PPP is, it is going to the business. When it's going to the self-employed, well, it's going to you. So how are you going to be able to get PUA? So I think you're going to have to just use your own judgment on that and kind of go with a fairness is all I can really say on that. And, regardless of the state, PPP is from the feds, EIDL is from the feds, PUA is from the feds. And so anyways, that's where I think we fall in on the PUA. And then on the ERC, where that comes into play is that my good friend Tom, and we still even emailed on it, I think just even a couple of days ago, but we're still waiting on IRS guidance. Tony sent me an email where someone, a publication, had basically kind of been mirroring what I was saying, which is, hey, let's hold and wait, but maybe. So the only reason I say that is on the ERC, if you're getting PPP, you are going to need to hold, or if you're getting PPP2, you are going to have to hold and see where we're at once the IRS comes out with further clarification. Further clarification, in my opinion, on two things. One, what's the effective date of the PPP and the ERC, okay, where you go, well, you can't do both. And it may just be that it started at 10,000 BC. It could be that, nope, it's no matter when you took PPP funds, you don't get ERC going to the past, present, or future. But the law just indicates that they wouldn't be qualified. Okay, might make sense, and they're not going to be qualified while they're getting PPP money, but why can't we get some clarification? The second is the law indicates that there would be a recapture if someone took ERC and then later got PPP funds. But how's the recapture done? And it indicates that the IRS has to come up with that clarification for us. We got another one?
We do. All right, our next one is from Edward. Hello, JJ, truly an honor. I must start off and say thank you for what you have done for the community as a whole. Your videos have been extremely helpful and your assistance through these times are greatly appreciated. I can truly say I have never met a cap like you. I have two businesses. One is a side business driving for Amazon. My second business is pharmaceutical research, both independent contractors where I have to travel a lot. During this virus, I've been forced to work home a lot more than usual, but don't have the equipment to fully do the job. If I'm able to get PPP and EIDL, can I use those funds for a purchase of a business vehicle and office equipment such as desktops, software, etc.? Do these business essentials that will help me save money and run both my businesses more effectively be forgiven as usual? Once again, thanks for all you do. You rock.
Thank you so much. I think there was a autocorrect there. I've never met, you said, never met a cap, but if you put CPA in, but you're right, Justin always says cap. He calls me Captain America.
Yeah.
We have a show, JX4, that I have a playlist, you can go check it out. But with the CPA marketer, Juan Garcia, and who I've already talked about, Justin McAuliffe, CPA, founder of CPA Enterprises, CPA JMac out of the Northeast. But anyways, on that show, I think it was the second or third show, The Avengers came out, the movie The Avengers, or one of them. And so we didn't dress up or nothing, but we all were, as we went around the horn, because it's this talk show where we talk around the horn, so to speak, kind of like an ESPN, moves very quickly. It's always 1 hour. Each segment's 15 minutes. It goes very, very quick because there's 4 of us talking, no more than 2 minutes. And when we came on, I was Captain America only because I have that shield. You may have seen a picture of it. I've got it at the office, but it's a straight up metal shield that Amanda got me, and it actually lights up. So they were talking about PPP funds and the EIDL funds. So thank you for the email. It's a great question. And for the EIDL, absolutely. Really, I mean, the EIDL is just meant for helping your business. I mean, it goes so far as to indicate that if it needs to help you make payments on loan obligations from the business or on the business, that is fine. So for those items, that will be fine, but absolutely not on the PPP. Very strict. The PPP, I talk a lot about it, not only in the PPP videos, but I have that playlist that's the PPP forgiveness. And in fact, on jjthecpahelp.com, free website. If you're new to our live stream here, welcome. We really appreciate that. Love it that we've got about half. We got 111 thumbs up. Love to have a few more. But when you're talking about the PPP and you go to my website, which is just a community service website, there's no on there that you give me an email or anything that makes me then be tempted to contact you later to tell you to come to some secret seminar, meaning there's none of that. But I've got a page called Forgiveness, and on there it gives you what the law is going to require. It's basically a breakdown of the various payroll information, but nowhere in there does this grant allow for us to spend money on anything other than payroll costs, which is salaries and wages, the employer portion paid of health insurance, the employer paid portion of the retirement, and then state unemployment taxes. Then added to that, we get to write off, or we get to include in that grant, rent, utilities, and then the interest on any loans. But now for self-employed individuals, there's kind of an interesting little twist to what counts as utilities. So go to my website, look on the forgiveness page, because on the forgiveness page, and I wish I could bring up, thank you, John. I wish that you could bring up on the screen here all the things that are on my website. And so I really appreciate that when we're looking at what we're trying to address during the live stream, Brad, our producer, Brad Johnson, CPA, up from Michigan, But he said, you've got, I mean, basically what I read into the email is you have so many different videos, you have so many things that are on the website that you want to try and gear people towards that. So no, PPP only for those items I listed. Unfortunately, even if it makes sense, it won't be available for those other expenses. Now, there's been people indicating, well, do you have an obligation once the 8 weeks are over to only use your money on payroll and rent and utilities? And I don't think so, because it's a grant for 8 weeks and then it becomes a loan. When it becomes a loan, then you're in a set of circumstances where I think you could use it for whatever purposes you want, because it's a loan now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, you may have spent everything and not all of it gets forgiven, and you'll have to just pay it back nonetheless. I don't think we can really get away with, well, I sent everybody on unemployment and now I've got this extra money, so now I'm going to go ahead and just pay it out over 18 months. Meaning you can do that, but I'm just curious to see how's that going to work when you're going through the forgiveness phase, because you were only really taking that to your own. Let's see, Salesforce just went live with it today. Did someone say, is it EIDL by chance?
No,
I just wanted to
no.
break in with breaking news if that was the case. But anyways.
Tony said anyone here by
Oh.
Facebook and
Oh,
Salesforce.
okay, gotcha. They're talking about some other stuff.
Yeah.
What else? What other email we got there? Thank you so much.
Next one's from Doobie. On your Schedule C video, you mentioned not to bother doing Schedule C if you have COGS. Well, what do I do if I have COGS? My single member LLC is a froyo shop and we have food and packaging inventory. How should I go about computing numbers if a Schedule C is not recommended?
Well, thanks for asking on that. Who is it?
Thanks for watching the video, Doobie.
Well, Doobie, I really appreciate that. Yeah, that's what there's that danger in doing a video like that, because really most people that have a sole proprietorship don't have inventory, okay? So you're gonna just probably need to ignore that portion of the video. If you do have inventory, if you do have cost of goods sold, you are a yogurt shop, I thought that, I was indicating in there that this is for a service industry, this is for the basic, this is for, a business that is kind of a side hustle. So when I was going through and I was talking through that Schedule C and all the disclaimers I had in there, you're right. In that video, I said, hey, you're not going to have cost of goods sold, but that was directed really towards a business that would have been, a Schedule C side hustle sole proprietor. So the one thing I'm going to tell you is two things. One, you need to absolutely include your cost of goods sold, okay? Because when you go to file your return, you're going to want that in there. So whatever you're putting together for the Schedule C and you're giving to the government, you're going to want that. When I say the government for PPP, you're going to need it to be the same as it goes to the IRS. So you really need to probably get a software. You're going to need to get a professional. And so I tried my best in that video to say who it was for. Probably really not geared towards you. The other thing I'm going to tell you is I hope that you go and watch the video that says no one should be a sole proprietorship, because you should not be a sole proprietorship. You most likely need to be an S Corp. Now you're gonna have to talk to you're gonna have to talk to a tax advisor about this. But if you're netting more than about 20 grand, you need to start looking at being an S Corp, because there's gonna be some savings for you. So I want you to check out that video, the sole proprietor video, meaning no one should be a sole proprietor. Now, even though it says that on the thumb, right, I do put in that video that there's some that if you're not netting enough, yeah, you should just be a sole proprietor. So thanks for asking. Check out that other video. You definitely want to include the cost of goods sold. And that was just, Amanda, that was kind of the danger. Mm-hmm. And I've said it, of putting together a video of like, hey, here's how you cut your bangs. Here's how you do a Schedule C. So it's not a one size fits all. And as soon as PPP2 is over, I'm taking that video down, both videos, because it's really was meant to be just in a pinch.
All right, this is Bill. from Maryland. You guys are great and been a huge help. Thank you so much for all your videos and live chat. It has really helped me more than I can say.
Thank
two
you.
Are great. One question is, I submitted my PPP application initially on 4/10/2020 to Bank of America and eventually was asked for supporting documents that I never heard back from until last night. My local BOA office manager said they could not help me with anything and I just had to wait and see. Well, to say the least, after watching your coach video, I was fired up and that was not going to stand.
Good.
So I went out to a local bank and submitted another application. Within a day, my application was completed and ready to send into the SBA. My only concern now is that the SBA might receive 2 applications for the PPP from me. What will they do?
Yeah, you know, I'm not for sure, but I'm hoping that it's you know, when you're going to the SBA and you get an SBA number, it's tied to your EIN or your social if you're a sole proprietor. And once it's been submitted and it's been approved, I would assume that the next one's going to kick out. I know when I'm doing IRS filings, if for whatever reason an extension got filed, maybe by a third party. I've had a couple of times where someone got divorced. It was like, well, who's doing the business return? So we went to go file the extension. We're like, oh, okay, well, the other spouse's CPA must be doing the business return because it just got rejected, meaning the second one. So I'm not sure. I know that I've had a couple of people that have indicated they're in the same circumstance. And right now, I don't know that there's anything you can do about it, given that it's D-Day, right? I understand that there's a lockdown or a freeze or something to that effect. But at the end of the day, I don't really know. And once you do get approved with one bank, you know, you probably want to clarify, like, what's the approval actually mean? Like, does it just mean that you were approved to be approved, or is it you're approved, you're locked, you're getting the money? And once you're satisfied that you're actually getting those dollars, then I think it would be okay to talk to the other bank. But let's just be clear, because Tina, you know, who's a CPA that comes on, I don't know if Tina's on today. Perfect.
She just actually said, thanks to everyone answering other questions, because she's getting a lot of good information from you as well as the comments.
Yeah, well, good. You know, you don't want to purposely be applying in 2 spots. I think that could cause some issues, but it's almost like if you were in PPP1 just like you, and you're at a bank and it's like, well, I mean, did they get it in? Did they not? Did they need more information? Gee golly, I'm going to another bank. And I was talking to somebody this weekend where I was talking with somebody that had a client this weekend, and they couldn't get their previous bank to respond to anything. And so it's like, well, what do they do? I'm like, just get to another bank, because if you haven't even approved them to do anything for PPP2, meaning you have an app, but are they even going to submit it? And if they're not responding, it seems reasonable that if somebody were to question later, well, why did you apply twice? It's like, well, I applied here, never got anywhere, couldn't get a hold of anybody. They said they needed information, but then I gave it to them. They never heard back. So at the end of the day, I think that you want to be mindful that as soon as you get that money ready to go, or it's yours, you need to let the other bank know as soon as possible. Real quick, I've seen it pop up a couple of times, but I don't know. I did a couple of updates, over the weekend on the EIDL, and I don't know if it's going to be 1,000 per employee, or if we're going back to the 10K. I'd be surprised if we go back to the 10K. So really, what happens is what happened was there was a period of time where when you applied for the EIDL advance, you got 10,000. It wasn't a forgivable, you didn't have to pay it back. Okay, and the SBA was even like, you don't have to pay it back. I mean, like, come get this money. And no one was really maybe either believing it or whatever the case is, or they thought it meant they had to get the next step, which is an SBA Express or an SBA loan. But then as money started to run low, all of a sudden they went dark for a period of time, they being the SBA. And then there was a bulletin that I came across out of the Massachusetts SBA office. I still never came across anything that came out of any other office or at the national level, but it was they're only going to be 1,000 per employee. So from that perspective, I don't know why they would change that, because the SBA finally came out and said, well, here's why we've been doing that. Okay, So, well, I guess the SBA then did actually, I guess the SBA national level did actually come out and make a comment about it because they were indicating that it was because they were running out of money. But that was after it all ran out of money that they said that. So I'm not sure. I did tell some people, I've done a couple of videos that, you know, if you only got $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 because you only have 1, 2, 3 employees, maybe go apply again once it comes online. Anybody check? Has anybody checked? Is it online? SBA.gov, any chance EIDL is up? Hey, real quick, so our producer, Brad, okay, it's Homer Dog. So Brad, our producer, okay, so I think what that means is if we start like we go to NBC, maybe we wouldn't go to NBC at first, you know, like maybe we go to, you know, Bravo channel or something like that, right? I think we're gonna have to bring Brad along, and you know, producers end up making more money than everybody else, the executive producers. Anyways, he was saying, you know, you should highlight something out of your book each day. I mean, it's a nice promotion, but you have some good, valuable information, which, by the way, autograph copy going to Brad. And actually, we're a little overdue getting it to Brad because of a misunderstanding we had on what he was actually wanting. Anyways, but in this book, very little is about tax, okay? So see how thick this book is. The tax portion, I want to say, is about this thick. Right? So of all of this, okay, this amount, I can't really see it. This amount is on tax. This all right here, this whole part of the book is on banking, insurance, and business tips. So it's about the stuff that if I feel like if you read it in here, you read it from a CPA, then you might be in a set of circumstances where you're like, okay, I'm in the comfort of my own home. So how much life insurance do I really need? Because I'm thinking everybody's just selling me and I'm never gonna die. I'll never die, Amanda. I never need life insurance because I'll never die. But I talk about this book like, well, how do you even know how much you need? Because if you knew how much you need, wouldn't you want to just go buy it like when you buy a car? But anyways, we're talking about loans this week. We're talking about PPP, right? We're talking about the EIDL, right? The advanced portion. Right? You can then go and get an SBA Express. You can get a regular SBA loan. But in here, I've got a chapter that tells you how to not whine when later you need to get some money. And I want to tell you right now that if you are reading through my book, in the section, there's a theme here that is this. Banks have a primary purpose of loaning you money because they want to get paid back. So here's what you need to know. You almost have an advantage. I want you to think right now, okay? I want you to think right now about getting this book, but I want you to think right now, are you going to need money in 3 weeks? What about when the 8 weeks is done? Okay? When should you go and apply for a loan? A, when you need it. B, when your bank account is completely at zero. C, when you're completely desperate and you expect the bank to take care of you tomorrow. Or D, when you don't actually need the money. What do you think? You just said D? You were right. Yeah.
I did.
You
D.
were right. Yeah. D, meaning what I talk about in here is when you don't need the money is when you want to apply, because the bank is then going to look at your numbers now. They're going to look at, okay, you haven't opened yet. What's your plans? How much PPP money do you have? Do you have any EIDL? Where are you at? So if you wait until you open, you wait until maybe things go wrong to then either re-up, renew, expand, or get more of a line of credit, you might find the bank saying no. And it talks in here about how to not be a whiner and a sniveler about that because you've been told. And then this is telling you what your bank's going to want to see, what they're going to want to base a loan off of. Because here's the thing, the PPP, it doesn't end there, right? We know that there's plenty. Okay, Robert, who owns a salon, right? He's thankful. Joyce, that said 25 employees in Hawaii now have payroll for the next 8 weeks. Well, what about the next 8 weeks? What about then? When do you want to go to the bank? Then or now? So you should be thinking that through, or at least letting the bank know that you might need some funds at some point. So we got 137 likes.
Yeah, we did good today.
We've got 319 people on. And what we want to do is, when we end the show, we'll kind of look at, did any emails come through? What we're trying to do is keep it to an hour. Now today, Amanda, we're going to go a little longer. We're going to break what Brad and I and you had said, because we're wanting to go for an hour, because it's PPP day.
Okay.
It's EIDL day.
Well, actually, it's not, because...
Well, tomorrow's going to be EIDL.
It really will. Tomorrow will be the day.
So, what I want to do in closing, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to extend our time today. You don't look happy. Did you have other plans?
No.
What other plans do you have? This is everything. This is everything. But what we're going to do today is we are going to see if we can't glean some questions out. So let me tell you this right now. If you've asked a question and you didn't get it answered, please email it to us, because we're going to go through a couple of more emails. We're going to go a little long. If you put something in here, I don't know how I'm going to get to it unless you send it this second.
Oh, well, there's no need. I mean,
We've already got plenty of emails? Okay. So we're going to go a little long. We're going to go extended time. For the point is that we still have people that are trying to make some decisions this week. We have PPP, we have EIDL. But we're going to start each week, and I think we'll end it each week with the coach's huddle. And what's the coach's huddle? Here's what I want you to do. If you haven't seen the video, and it's called If You Don't Like a Coach Yelling at You or something like that. What's it actually called? Can't remember. It's like, if you see, I got a picture and I'm doing this. I'm up in the grill and I'm like, if you don't like a coach up in your grill. So I want you to go watch that video. I'm not going to reenact it, but that's what I want you to do. If you watched it before and you got a PPP app in and you hadn't heard anything, okay, this is not when you go weak. This is not when you go tame. Your banker is handing you money from the government, okay? I know normally when we're dealing with bankers, okay, for whatever reason, we think, well, I don't want to bug them too much, because what if they say no? Banks want to say yes. I talk about it in my book. What they're going to say no to is somebody that doesn't have the right numbers. Well, guess what? In PPP, it doesn't matter. In the law, it indicates that it arrives, okay? It arrives already approved. The SBA came out on the 24th and said over and over and over, hey, banks, you don't even have to check the math, basically. You can just, if it looks reasonable, take their number and go. You don't have to do anything really to verify their application number. Okay? It was almost like the SBA was shaking them and saying, just get it done. It's first come, first served basis. So if you've got an app in, okay, there's no reason to run scared, okay? And if your bank doesn't come through, I want you to go find another bank. I want you to get in your head that this is your money, okay, that you have with that bank. They should be doing their job, which is first come, first serve. So go watch that video, because I pound the desk. I do a little dancing. I do a little jig, so to speak. And Amanda's coming around. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would love it if you did. You're almost kind of cheating, okay? And I don't mean to say it and make anybody mad. Thank you for the more likes. But it's almost kind of like, really? You're going to come in, you're going to get some free info, you're going to be able to get, $1,000 or $10,000 or $25,000, and you're not going to subscribe to my YouTube channel? Come on, man. Anyway, so I'd love it if you'd subscribe. And what do we got here? We're going to go to some email questions. So normally we'd be wrapping up. We're going to do an extended. Lakeisha, happy birthday. I saw that pop up. Let's see. Lakeisha is probably turning, what do you think, 29?
Yep.
25, 24?
Yep.
Well, happy birthday, Lakeisha. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go through some questions. And you know what? We didn't get to talk about the reality show, so we'll talk about that too.
Which one?
I'm waiting on you. Let's go.
Is it possible to advance pay salary employees within the 8 weeks period to help drive your total payroll cost up to help meet the dollar threshold? In other words, pay them 2 checks in 1 week.
You know, it's a good thought in the sense that everybody's concerned about making sure that their payroll gets forgiven. But here's the thing I want you to remember, okay? You've been handed money, and no matter what gets forgiven or not forgiven, you got free money. Like, when does that ever happen? You got money to pay your employees, okay? So if you don't have as many employees, or your average is, higher than your actual now, in Tom, who is he's a writer for Forbes magazine, but luckily enough that I've been able to do some conversing with him. And he's like, hey, I watched your one video, you were yawning through it. And I was like, yeah, I'm so sorry, but I had shot enough of it that I was gonna just keep going. But he said, I'm working on a calculator. Would you like to get a copy of it? And then I know that we got the 4 a.m. challenge accepted by Brad. And really what it comes down to is, and Tom, he emailed me over the weekend, and then I think he emailed me this morning. And he was just like, there's too many variables. There are too many variables, and what he put in an article that he published is really what you need to do. You spend it on what you need. So here's the official answer. I've got a video, and it says payroll in it, bigger in Texas. I want you to go watch that video for more details. But the answer is no. You're not going to be able to do it. It's 8 weeks incurred, okay? Otherwise, everybody just be paying out bonuses and, giving themselves raises. So it's going to be what was incurred. Now, I know Clay at 3 a.m. was like, my brain's hurting on this one, Clay from Boston. And I agree. So go watch that payroll video, because I walk through, okay, there's cash requirements and then there's PPP requirements. How do those two things match? Go watch that video, but at the end of the day, no, you're not going to be able to fake it. And then just know this: if the U.S. Treasury buys this up, you might be literally sitting across from a gun-carrying Secret Service agent. Do you want to explain that? So, anyways, mind your P's and Q's on it. Great question. Everybody's concerned about the forgiveness part, but you have to remember, at the end of the day, no matter what you didn't get forgiven, okay, the other part was free freaking money. It was free money. So our goal here is not to then absorb as much as we can of free money. Okay, it's absorbing it for what it is that you need.
Our next one is from Princess Beasley. SBA pulled my credit on Friday. Saturday, Navy Federal emailed me 3:25 p.m. Your app was incomplete. Gave me a whole list of stuff I needed to complete. But unfortunately, there are so many apps that I might still not qualify due to funding running out. Doing some research on Saturday, I found out that question 5 and 6 needed to be initialed. So I did and resubmitted on Saturday. When I called Navy Federal today, I was told what the problem was. They tried to assure me that my app is still being processed. I argued that the email said to reapply. Navy Fed has an update to a current application tab, etc., etc. I broke down and cried. I'm losing my home. I'm sorry. Please, 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 please make sure people know that they have to initial line 5 and 6.
Initial line 5 and 6. Well, I tell you what, I bet with Navy Credit Union, they are going to go to battle for you. So call them, tell them your story, stay in front of them, go watch my coach's video, please. Get fired up. If you don't like a coach yelling at you, I got one that came out 20 minutes after that, and it's called The Softer Side. But what it's going to talk about is following up, okay? Following up, following up, following up, following up. And make sure that they know who you are, first name basis. And make sure that they know you already had it in. It was a simple thing, and you need to have that funding.
Our next one is from
So
Cindy.
good luck, and will you let us know what happened?
Our next one is from Cindy. when we applied for the P3, the indications were to include 1099 employees. Is that still the case? What is the FTE? Several of our employees are less than 40 hours, but they are salary. Will we be penalized?
Well, you're not going to be penalized, but you're not going to get forgiveness. So I would talk with your bank right away, like right away. Because yeah, there was like a few hour window and I was jumping up and down, and it wasn't a popular stance, but I was jumping up and down saying 1099 people should not count. And then the SBA came out on the 3rd and said, yeah, 1099 people shouldn't count. And what I mean by that is those who pay 1099s, okay, that should not count as payroll costs, because it's not. And when people use the word 1099 employees, just know this: you're staring down a $5,000 fine for continuing that process starting 1/1/20. $5,000 fine per. They're coming out with a new form 1099 NEC, non-employee compensation, which then is going to be like, okay, it's going to be an alarm system for the IRS so that they come after you for paying people that are independent contractors that should be employees. Now, don't mean to scare you, because you may have just very legitimate independent contractors, right? But that's the thing here, is if they're legit independent contractors, which is they have their own people, they can make a profit, they can do whatever they want, when they want, they can include other, helpers, so to speak. If they're a true independent contractor, well, they're not an employee. But then if they're somebody that you're resembling as an employee, you got bigger problems than just beyond PPP that you need to resolve with your tax advisor now, today, okay? Because this is going to be huge. The IRS out of Uber, okay, got all riled up about the 1099. That's why they got the new form coming out, okay? So I teach this, believe it or not, I teach this very thing, all to say, get with your bank ASAP, and I think you're going to need to give them back. It's not a popular answer. The amount that you got that was based on 1099, you probably need to give it back right away. It's a for sure not going to be forgiven because it's not a qualified expense. So I know that you didn't intend to, and you're relying on the bank to do that, and the bank wouldn't have intended to do it. I mean, the bank's just doing whatever they thought at the time. But you're going to want to course correct it. I don't know that you'd be penalized, but I don't feel like when you got to the forgiveness end that you might be in more of an issue than just non-forgiveness if you got funds in a way that actually don't qualify. So I don't think you're grandfathered in at all, because the SBA indicated right away on the 3rd that those are not going to qualify. So, hey, just for those that are just now tuning in, know this, that we're Monday through Friday. We're going to go 4 to 5. We're going to try and condense the show down. We know that after this week, we're going to be probably well past the PPP, Amanda, and the EIDL. And, we've been going live 2.5, 3 hours. And there's not going to probably be the same amount of questions, but I think there can be the same amount of help. I think we've put together a really, really nice, neat, wonderful community here of people that are supporting one another. And so I think to provide something that is going to be sustainable, we really feel like if we go an hour each day, that would be something that's sustainable and that people would tune in. And of course, if you miss it, then you can rewatch it. So from this perspective, basically know this: we're into bonus time. And speaking of bonus time, we have a playlist. We have a link on our website, jjthecpahelp.com/show, and we're doing a reality show. What's the reality show? JJ the CPA Here, okay, is going to show up. What's JJ going to do? Well, take a look at the few videos that I did yesterday, and you're going to see a little glimpse. But I'm talking about cash flow. I'm talking about how to really look at your numbers and make a determination what's business, what's personal. And I don't care what you're running through, but how do we break those things apart? How do we figure out between fixed and variable costs? Why? Why? Why are we even doing this? Because people have been affected by the crisis, and I think it would be another way that I can help, another way to give back, but then by real live examples. And what'll make it fun is we're gonna be able to meet some people that are hardworking. Over the weekend, we released a video and we walked through briefly the 9 that we've got it narrowed down to. Did we get another one that's not part of the 9?
Yeah, we got one today.
We got another one? Okay.
Or maybe it was yesterday.
Yeah, so we did get another one, but we want to narrow it down to 3 that we're going to go and actually visit, where we're going to show up. So it should be neat. Hopefully you'll come along for the ride, so to speak, and you'll be able to see like, okay, what does a CPA really do? Like, I know you do numbers, but like, what does that really mean? And then it's going to be where you'll be able to see kind of how that stuff comes alive, just the same as when people watch a show when they're getting their, someone's redoing bathrooms. It's like, well, why are we watching this? Well, it's just interesting. We're seeing how somebody has a bathroom like everybody else and what could be done with that bathroom. Well, small businesses, they have a lot. And I will tell you this, I do have a book that I have decided, Russell, and Russell's the one I told I was going to come out May 6th with it. And it's the book called Cracking the CPA Code. And I had told Russell probably about a month ago, well, this is before coronavirus, we knew anything about coronavirus. I said, I'm going to come out with my next book, Cracking the CPA Code, that I've been working on for a couple of years. But the problem is, I think if I come out with Cracking the CPA Code, we're kind of wasting this opportunity to come out with something that's going to help with what the circumstance. The opportunity is to come out with a book that could help with the circumstances. Not a book about PPP. Not a book about EIDL. Not even really a book about crisis, but a book about JJ the CPA, know your numbers. Okay? So we're going to have a book that's about knowing your numbers, and it will not be a sleeper because it'll be about your numbers, whether it's personal or business. And your numbers, how can that be a snoozer? Your numbers, how can that be boring? They're your numbers. But I'm the kind of CPA that can sit down with anybody and go through their numbers and be able to see very quickly. And so many people are afraid to let other people look at their numbers. Why? Because you're looking under the sheets, right? They're feeling a little vulnerable. Why are they feeling vulnerable? Because they don't want to be judged. So, I talk about, you should go watch the video I did over the weekend. And my hands are up like this, right? So I talk about someone who goes to the skin doctor and they've got something on their rear end, right? As a CPA, those CPAs out there, you know what I'm talking about, right? People come in and they're concerned about their numbers, as in embarrassed, or they like, oh, you're probably the best money manager, CPA, and now you're going to look at my numbers, or they're sitting down with the EA and they're like, oh, you probably work with so many clients, this is probably the worst you've ever seen. And tax pros that are visiting with their clients, always hear these things, and it's just not the case, meaning we need to see numbers, okay? We see categories, we see classifications, we see accounts, right? All of a sudden we see grids, maybe not quite to, Clay's an architect.
He's an architect.
So not quite probably like what an architect would see with numbers. But when I'm seeing spread out bank statements and financials and payroll, okay, what I see goes all of a sudden in all these different categories to be able to then go, hey, here you go. Here's kind of what you're looking at. Because every business, okay, involves money. It involves numbers. How is it even a business without numbers? So that's the one common thread. It doesn't matter your ethnicity. It doesn't matter your sex. It doesn't matter your age or your experience. It doesn't matter your product or a service or online or worldwide or a neighborhood, anything. The one common thing with all businesses is numbers, okay? So that's what we're gonna be talking about. And hey, real quick, I wanted to roll back. I pulled up the application. If you've just joined us, thank you for joining us. Please subscribe, give us a like. but I pulled up the application that they were referring to.
Okay.
And you are right. Initial here to confirm your response, question 5 and 6. I don't know that I initialed mine. Because I was like, I don't remember initialing anything on the first page. Maybe I did.
I did.
You did?
I did.
You did? Okay. Well, then I probably did too. But yeah, I can see where it would be missed. So if you haven't put in an app, or if you've sent an app and you're looking at it and you're like, oh, so good point on that.
Mm-hmm.
Do we got another one teed up? Another question?
This is from Augie. I need your help.
Augie. And Augie's been on before. Mm-hmm. I recognize the name Augie.
I need your help.
Thanks,
please.
Blair.
I have an S Corp and applied for the EIDL on April 1st. I never got any notification from them letting me know if they got my information or not. When I applied for it, I added 4 subcontractors that I 1099. This was before me finding out that I wasn't supposed to do that after finding you on YouTube. You said we couldn't list them. So 2 weeks went by and I reapplied again since I heard the site crash. So I figured they lost my application. The second time I applied on April 14th, this time around, I got an email from them the next day, but since I didn't hear anything back from them, fast forward to today, which is today, I got funded $5,000. So now I don't know exactly what I can do with the money since I wasn't supposed to incorporate them into the application. So technically, aren't I only supposed to get $1,000? I don't want to get in trouble with Uncle Sam. Any guidance would be appreciated. Thank you.
You know, on that, it's the kind of situation where kind of a judgment call. And I will tell you this, now, if anybody's got a link to it, would you email it to me? But you know, I've not really come across anything hardcore, okay, about what is included in that employees, okay? Because I've also taken the stance that if you are a real estate entity, right, you rent out real estate and you're in need of rental property, you can go get the EIDL. Well, you don't have the employees. And so I've been saying, you know, put down the number of owners because in essence, it's looking at, well, how many people are involved with this? And then I know for sure, without a doubt, on the PPP, you cannot include the 1099. And I would still stand by the fact that on the EIDL, it needs to be the employees, okay? And then if you're an entity that doesn't have the employees, well, then how many owners are there, okay? Meaning, is it one? And if it's a Schedule E, you've got one owner, you're gonna get the 1,000. So I do feel like you probably got too much. But the thing about this one is, in the circumstances that you're talking about, is it does seem likely that you got the money based on 1,000 per employee. Because if you'd gotten 10 grand, I would have been like, well, I think you just got it under the old method, which was just 10 grand. Mm-hmm. So here's what I suggest that you need to do is, obviously you have the money in your account. There's nothing you can do about that. Is contact the SBA and you have a tracking number of some kind because you got an email. Now what's interesting, you didn't get an email on the first one, but you did get one on the second one. And so I don't know if on the second one you put down 1 and then you still got 5. Okay, put down 1 and you still got 5.
The first application, he put down the
5.
On
Second,
the second one, he
put
was
down
like, oh
1.
crap, I should
Yeah.
have done that.
Yeah.
Then he got 5.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. And here's let me tell you this. Here's why I would contact the SBA is that, you know, with what's going on right now, there is a lot of an honor system. And Augie, you're awesome because you're wanting to do it the way that it should be done. And some of this stuff, especially like on the PPP, you're getting in honor system. Honor system also, though, that, you know, regardless of your politics, you know, George Bush, George W. would always say, trust but verify. Well, I trust you, but bring me in the evidence, so to speak, and show me that what you just told me is true. So the thing is that you're going to be filing something for payroll. for 2020 at some point, and you're going to be filing something for 1099s, right? So at some point, someone knows this. Someone knows, okay, well, you only had one employee, or if you're self-employed, it's like, yeah, it was just you. And they're going to see that you had the 1099s. So I would contact the SBA. I would do it in writing. You can call somebody, but you might get somebody that's just like, eh. But if you would, I guess maybe put together a letter, send it to the SBA. You can contact them by phone, maybe to have them pull up your account, see what was it based on. Maybe it was based on something different. And I think what you can explain to them is, when you were filling it out, you were under the impression that, who your contractors were get to be included because that was a common knowledge. And so you want to make sure that you got the right amount. Don't go into it assuming you got the wrong amount. Don't go into it and say, oh, I got $4,000 too much. Don't go into it and say, hey, I think I did something wrong. Don't say, did I do it wrong? Here's what you're doing when you're contacting the SBA. You want to verify you got the right amount. You're not going to say too much, too little. You're going to say, I want to verify I got the right amount. So, Augie, and then Augie, you might wait a week or something, right? Because the SBA is so inundated that it might be better. Wait a week or so, put together a letter, see what response you get, but then hold on to it, the $4,000, because you may have to pay it back. But know this, that the SBA may make an individual ruling with you, Augie, and go, you know what? It's yours. Because again, originally it was $10K and it didn't matter how many employees you had. So anyways, great question.
I did want to just give a quick break. There's 417 people watching.
Wow.
Only
Love
171 likes. So if you guys could please give us some thumbs up. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And he will be on here for the rest of the week, live at 4 o'clock Central Time. So if you have questions, email them to jj@jjthecpahelp.com. We will get as many done as we possibly can. Our next question is from Backyard Barbecue in the house.
All right.
Welcome.
Backyard Barbecue. Great to see you.
Our next question is from Terry. Thank you, Joshua and Amanda, for all your guidance. Meeting you two has definitely been the bright spot of this crisis. 2 pay periods ago, S Corp raised owner wage. Nothing to do with PPP, but because the percentage of the W-2 wages to the S Corp distribution seemed a little low after looking at 2019 numbers. Based on your live Friday, hoping S Corp will get PPP 2.0, would it be better to take a pay cut back down to the lower rate to not appear as trying to get more loan forgiving, even though it makes the S Corp distribution higher than it probably should be? Or should we keep it and just explain the extra rate increase should it not be forgiven?
So they're saying they're getting PPP2?
In hopes that they do.
Yeah, in hopes they're getting PPP2. Well, one of the things that I've said all along is, and I hear what you're saying, is, do what makes sense. So if you are a business that it's payroll time, it's time to give a raise, it's time to adjust something with payroll, you just do that. I think that, there is a raise that's being given to the owners. So the way that you can just be on the front on that, so to speak, is, first of all, know this, that the payroll is based on the last 12 months. So when you go in to do the forgiveness of it, I think all you present, you say, hey, here was the pay, but all we're asking to be included in the forgiveness portion is what the shareholder made in the last 12 months. Or if it was based on 19, you can say, hey, here's what the shareholder made in 19. So we're just asking for that amount to be included in the forgiveness portion, which would be that, in essence, divided by 52 times 8. And you're then kind of in the clear, because I do feel like when you get to the forgiveness phase, the banks will be saying, okay, well, give us the payroll that you believe should be included. So I think that that'd be a great way to do it. And good job increasing your S Corp wages. That's something that we look at with our clients each year. And the reason to increase your S Corp wages, everybody, is that the IRS knows that those that have an S Corp, the net income is not subject to self-employment tax like a partnership. That's if you're actively involved. And so they do expect reasonable compensation. And each year, the Social Security limits go up in terms of the amount of wages subject to Social Security tax. Social Security tax being that 6.2% tax. So each year, depending on how much money is being pulled out. But I will give you a little tip though on the wages, right? I'm all for increasing wages. So don't change what you're doing this year. But I do believe that there comes a point that wages are enough. And I know, meaning they've hit enough. But I do know that that some, they want to pay wages because they want to be able to max out their retirement, right? So depending on where you're at in terms of the location in the country and the median wage and things to that effect, I tell clients, let's take a distribution once a quarter. Okay, so I take a quarterly distribution. Now I have a healthy wage. Okay, meaning I'm an S Corp, so I'm paying myself, I think, a wage that would be undisputable in terms of the IRS. But I still am taking a distribution. So taking a distribution 4, maybe 5 times a year, bless you.
Thank you.
What that indicates is that when someone's taking that distribution, it's as though you're mirroring what those distributions are supposed to represent, which is a percentage or a portion of net income. So you got more than what you were looking for there. And then, so I really appreciate the question. Stay the course. Next year, maybe think about doing some quarterly distributions. And even if you do some monthly distributions still, but you see that there's some increase that can go, maybe the increased amount of distribution is taken quarterly, something to that effect. And then someone did correct me, which is A-okay. I Googled it. So George W. must have just stole it, but it is Reagan that said, trust but verify. Yeah. But in the 80s, I was in junior high and high school. So I guess that Bush doctrine was based on the Reagan doctrine. So anyways, I love it.
Our next one's from David. I applied on 4/1. There was $3,000 deposited into my account today. When I applied, I put 3 employees and later found out that if I paid them as contract labor, they aren't really employees. However, I have more than enough eligible expenses. Question is, what all is inclusive expenses to consider when determining a loan amount? My credit score is...
Right.
Thanks, and I love your work. I am an Oklahoman as well.
Oh, love it.
Oklahoma.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. Well, on that, it's what I was just visiting with on that other question, and contact them and see. I will say this. I mean, it's only been the bulletin in Massachusetts that said, "Hey, here's how we're determining it." I'm sure there's other factors that go into it. I think it's just worth asking. I think it's worth the letter. I think it's worth the inquiry. And like I had indicated before, I think when you're doing the inquiry, it's just like, hey, I just want to make sure that I got the proper amount. For all they know, they think you're inquiring why you didn't get 10 grand. And so anyways, I think that it would be worth it because, again, the IRS, which is reporting to all governmental agencies, and if the SBA is, looking later, it'd be really easy, I would think, for a computer programmer to take all the SBA EIDL advances and just go, okay, here's their ID number, here's how many employees they said they have, here's the Social Security Administration, how many W-2s were processed for that EIN, is there a match? And the IRS does those matches all the time. It takes them about 6 months to a year, but it's just a computer-generated match when the IRS goes, hey, we got this information, but you did this or you did this, so tell us what happened here. So it might be better to have something in writing, write the letter. I don't know a time frame that if you don't hear anything back. Now on the credit score and all that good stuff, that's not supposed to matter. And then what you can use it for, in my opinion, is basically anything that's just a regular routine business cost. And if you got PPP, maybe not you, but if you got PPP and EIDL, there are some rules if you got it on the 3rd or before of April, or you need to take a look at, making sure you don't use it for the same purposes.
Our next one is from Martha. I'm not sure if you've answered this or not. Gross wages are covered by PPP. Net wage expense incurred during the 8-week period will be paid to employees during the 8-week period. The taxes deducted, however, are not due to the government until after the 8-week period has expired. Should we pay the taxes early before the expiration of the 8-week period so that the taxes will be forgiven? Is rent on a storage unit where the office files are stored in compliance with record retention rules added to office rent in calculating rental expense?
Yeah, great questions. Do check out for an expanded answer the video I did called Payroll, and maybe I'll try and find it. But on that, it's the SBA is going to definitely give us more guidance on that, and hopefully they will do that soon. But from my perspective, right now when I'm talking with the banks, they're saying, hey, without further guidance, you probably want to get that all paid within the 8 weeks. And that doesn't seem reasonable to me. And I think the SBA is going to know that's not reasonable in the sense that, okay, if I pay someone on the 56th day, how do I get the tax paid in before the 56th day? And if you read the law carefully, it does talk about what was incurred, okay? I don't think that means on an accrual versus cash basis. Occurred, payroll that occurred with an O. And I'm trying to look here. I don't know if I'm going to see it fast enough. Maybe Clay might be able to see it. I'm just not looking. I don't want to sit here and waste time. But just take a look. It had to have come around the 20th, 21st, 19th. And I just don't see it. Too many videos. But long story short, let's wait for the guidance. Worst case, if we don't get any guidance, then you probably want to play it safe. I do think, though, when you're looking at anything else with the IRS, if you have payroll, like you've cut the payroll and you paid everybody and it's December 31st, right? And then the taxes are pulled on the 2nd or 3rd. Well, all that's pulled into the year of when it was paid. And therefore, it's all included in the cost of the year of the payroll, okay? Now, some people may do a payable and all that good stuff. My interpretation has always been that any payroll tax that's included related to the payroll falls into the year that the payroll was paid when it occurred. And so the reason I'm saying all that is that I think that given that the IRS has a stance, same thing with the retirement plan, does it need to be paid within the 8 weeks? For right now, I'm going to say yes. But we all know with a retirement plan on the match, right? The match we have until the extension due date, right? Same thing with a SEP. So this is not uncommon for the IRS to say, well, what year was it occurring? And so that's why I think we'll probably get some reprieve on that. On the rent, we are going to need the SBA to give us more guidance. But what's interesting is it seems reasonable that the answer would be yes, because when you look and go to my website, jjthecpahelp.com, on the forgiveness page, because there I will update as the SBA comes up with more information. But on that page, and I'm popping to it right now, on the forgiveness page, I've put in there all the SBA releases, including the one that came out on the 24th. But if you look at the one that came out on the 14th, which focused in on the self-employed, it indicated specifically rent on storage units being considered and included. So I don't know why it wouldn't be included for employers, okay? So it seems likely. So to be determined on that. I think if you asked your bank, hey, can I pay the storage unit for the purposes you just said, they'd be like, yeah, sure, that makes sense, that would be rent. So I think that you're going to be A-okay on there. But be watching. And on that forgiveness page, every time the SBA comes out with new info, I'm popping it up there where you just click on it and then you go to a link and be able to read through it. So.
Next one is from Doug. My PPP lender says I was approved early last week and they're just waiting for my SBA number. Should I be following up with the bank to ask anything else? I applied for the EIDL advance on 4/4. I've not had a credit pull that I'm aware of. Should I be following up with the SBA on this?
When was the date on the EIDL? 4/4. Well, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that the SBA is as accessible as they are. I don't think there's anything wrong with following up. It does seem, though, that we're hearing, not that this really means anything, but we are hearing from another people that have applied around that same time period, didn't hear anything, and then boom, money showed up. From my perspective, it probably wouldn't hurt to follow up with the SBA. What are they going to tell you? Other than, you're either in or you're not. Did they say they got an email from the SBA? Okay, so didn't hear anything. The one thing you might consider too, I don't know, is if you didn't hear anything, okay, because that was a while ago, you might just reapply. I do feel like if you reapply and they come back later and they're like, why did you reapply? It's like, well, I applied, I didn't hear anything. I had heard that applications were lost because that was also during that time period. I don't think you're gonna get doubled up. They're gonna probably just go based on what your initial one is. So I don't know the exact best answer, because I'd hate to tell you to do something and then it turns out wrong, but why not reapply? Why not? You didn't hear anything. You didn't hear a word. So go and reapply when you can. Or if you're concerned about it, call the SBA, see if they can give you any kind of number a tracking on it. So thanks for the question on that.
Our other one's from Catherine, which Catherine has sent this email twice in 15 minutes, but you basically have already answered the question, so if you want to tell her. I learned on April 9th that I needed a business account with my bank to apply for PPP. I immediately went to a local branch and opened one. Although I heard that I could get a real-time PIN to create an online bank account, I was unable to get it set up until April 24th. Many hours later, today I'm unable to file as the bank isn't taking any more application. I've always filed as a Schedule C as a sole proprietor. I'm a licensed counselor. I pay plenty of taxes. Any insight would be welcomed.
Okay. Well, the person that I was answering the question about their EIDL, that they hadn't heard anything, they were also asking about the PPP. So yes, follow up, leave a voicemail, send an email, just check in, backdoor it by calling the general number and then figuring out who it is that can be helpful on that, and just following up. Hey, just want to call, and you can just be honest, just like, gosh, I'm so concerned about it. I know there were people that didn't get it in PPP1. I'm sorry to bother you. Did it get approved? Did it get approved? Did it get approved? And then you can be like, hey, well, can you guys just call me when it is approved? Yeah. Well, hey, I didn't hear from you. Did it get approved? Because I'm going to tell you this right now. If there's a bank that gets frustrated with you, shame on them, because they're literally just filling out paperwork. Okay. Now, I understand it takes time and stress, and they're losing, home time, and they're working their butts off. And I get all that. I'm not trying to make the banks out, but they're not out digging a ditch for you. Okay. They're not up on a ladder painting something. Okay. They don't have their hands their hands deep into a pot cooking you something. Okay. They're taking paperwork that the SBA put together. They're entering in the information. They're getting money, and then they're handing it out. Okay. So it doesn't matter if they're not happy with you, because they should not be at all in that set of circumstances. They're picking up 5%. Do they earn it? Yeah, they're going to earn it on the backside. Okay. But my point is, they're making 5%. Okay, they're not doing this for nothing. This isn't a charity. You're not going to try and get, you're not in the soup line. Okay, so from my perspective, yes, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Remind me of the next, what question am I on though, actually? The one that you read to me, and then I wanted to finish the answer to the other one.
Oh, about that she said that she.
Oh yeah, the business account. So here's the deal. The business account thing is not a thing. You were told that, bless your heart, you went out and did it. You try to meet the qualifications. At this point, what I would do is find yourself a local bank, a regional bank. How are you gonna know? Because it's gonna say First Bank of Norman. It's gonna say First Credit Union, and when you Google them, they have 2 locations. Okay, so get on it right now. Okay, I don't know what time it is where you're at. Okay, get on it now. You have no other, tomorrow you're gonna be on the phone 14 hours. Okay, you're gonna get a hold of a bank and you're gonna find a bank because you're already left out of that bank that you're at. So now it's time to move on. And who are you gonna move on to? There are small banks out there. You have to know it, right? If it's First Bank of Ada and there's one Ada and it's 5,000 people, that's a small bank. How do you know it's a small bank? Because there's 1 location, 2 locations. They're only in the state, right? That's a small bank. Credit unions typically are gonna be small. Get your tail into a small bank tomorrow. Get a hold of somebody. A lot of times on their website, they're doing it. So I had someone over the weekend and it's a friend, but they kept going, my bank just told me that I didn't get the SBA. I just didn't get that. I didn't get it. And just a little bit kind of turned into a junkie, right? You know how junkies like, eh. And I'm like, dude, pull yourself together. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I didn't get it.
All right.
Got it.
I'm already.
He got it.
Awesome.
He got it. And the reason why is on Sunday, he starts looking around. He's like, oh yeah, I know this one bank and they're smaller. And then he, like 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, ends up texting somebody to text somebody to text somebody to text somebody. Gets a hold of them. They're like, yeah, you know what? We only got like 14 of them at our bank. And I'm the person that does it. So yeah, bring your stuff in tomorrow morning. So those smaller banks are getting 30 billion, okay? The small bank and the small credit union, 30 billion. Get out there and do it right now. Start Googling, start looking. How do you know it's small? I told you. Thanks for the question. And I get fired up over it. Amanda's ready to be done, just FYI, so.
This one is from John. Are there any stipulations in the loan that once a business has been funded, money spent and audited, that a business remain open for a certain period of time thereafter to receive full forgiveness?
Wow, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
I know of nothing in there from the standpoint of it's a grant. It's to be used for the 8 weeks. Thank you, Gene. It's to be used for the 8 weeks. And the only thing I would say is if you knew you were going out of business when you got the PPP, there could be an issue because by the time you go for the forgiveness, if you've gone out of business, they may be aware of that and saying, well, what in the heck happened here? But of course, if it's related to COVID, but if you're using it for what it's intended, payroll, rent, utilities, etc., then I think you achieve forgiveness. I don't know of anything else that's required other than that.
I went through, we got them all.
Okay, so listen, if you just joined us or you joined us recently, we're getting ready to sign off. We've been on here almost about going on, maybe not quite 2 hours.
An hour and 45.
An hour and 45 minutes. But email us your questions. We will be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll do our show in an hour, and then if it does seem like we have a lot of open issues, then we'll go longer. But what we're trying to do is get it to where the show is an hour, because we're kind of wanting to make sure that we're staying interested. So maybe doing, client story, focus on what it needs to be for the week, some stuff that's going on in our community that we've got right here of all the wonderful people that are tuning in, answering emails, because there's going to be emails that keep coming in that won't be all related to PPP, that we all can pick up good information on. We're going to have our reality show. We will be also, right now, Tony and I planning on doing something. We got to figure it out, but some kind of an announcement. We were hoping for Wednesday of something that's going to be very exciting that will complement the reality show, okay? Which means that, yes, what most likely will happen is who we decide to help on the reality show, okay? We're probably going to, out of at least the 3, they're probably going to get something extra.
It's exciting, guys.
Yeah, and we're going to be putting together a way that we can all participate in giving something extra.
I love it.
So it won't just be about fun and games, okay? So at the end of the day, today, I feel like we've hit everything that we need to. I'd love it if you'd subscribe if you haven't. Amanda and I both have books on Amazon, and we've gotten a really good amount of people who've bought them.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We usually buy, for me, like 50 books at a time. I think we only have like 5 left. We're gonna have to buy some more. Yeah. And so anyways, we typically will do some kind of trivia. And so as we're saying our goodbyes, what should be our trivia to give away a koozie?
I thought we were just doing that on Friday.
You thought we were only doing that on Friday? No, we could. We're gonna do one question.
All right.
And
Shop Reality has an issue. He heard blue horseshoe, loved
Anacott steel.
Do you agree with this recommendation? And he understands if you decline to give your opinion. I told him earlier, it's like, oh, you don't know what you're poking in right there. Like,
the real problem is that Blue Horseshoe ended up loving Blue Star Airlines, and then everybody went down. But I will tell you this, Card Shop Reality. So my son and I, Cooper, we are at an LA Dodgers game. Cooper's probably 10 years old, okay? And we see up in the VIP area at Dodger Stadium, Charlie Sheen. And my son knows who Bud Fox is, i.e. Charlie Sheen. Knows who Gordon Gekko is, right? Like, our family's into it. I tried out for The Apprentice. We'll have to tell that story once. And my kids quoted Wall Street in the video I sent that helped me get on not on The Apprentice, but high in the rankings. But I'll tell you this right now. Coop, he said, Dad, we're getting his autograph. And I said, if you get his autograph, I'll give you $100. He's like, done. He's like, I'll get it. I don't even care if I get $100. So anyways, we go down and we're, clearly at a railing, and the VIP section, if you've been to Dodger Stadium, is like over like you can't get to it. It's like a pit. And he starts yelling, and the usher comes over and it's like, Coop, or he said, son, you're gonna have to go back up to your seat. So anyways, we plot this. So check this out. Game is over. And we get down, and the usher's like, nope, you got to go back up. And I said, my son is 10. He's trying to get an autograph. Okay, let us do it. He's like, all right. So I have to find the video, but I'm filming it, right? So it's a selfie video. It's me, and here's my son. And then here comes Charlie Sheen walking up, and he walks right in front of us. And he's like, Charlie, can I get your autograph? Charlie Sheen, can I get your autograph? Charlie Sheen. And I just told Coop, I said, do the Blue Horseshoe. I said, Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott steel. So Coop yells, Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott steel. Charlie Sheen turns around, he's like, all right. So we threw the ball down, he signed it, threw it back up, and that ball is, nope, you got me a Charlie Sheen ball that's right there. Yeah. Oh, it's at the office. Yeah. So anyways, boom, that got us, the Anacott steel got us an autograph. Thank you for that, I really appreciate it. Well, listen, we're gonna sign off, and we really appreciate everybody tuning in. And let's see, do I have my comments? Who we got here? How to restore chat, is that what I hit? And then I do pop out?
Yeah.
And how do I pop it out?
Just up there at the top right, those 3 little buttons.
Okay, boom. All right, look at this, I'm learning stuff. I'm loving it.
Guess what your favorite movie is.
Okay, okay, all right, I forgot, we have a trivia? Okay, so this will not be from Wall Street. It will not be from Wall Street 2. But this will be a movie quote. And let's see. Oh, I got it. Hang on. Let me see. We got to do a movie quote. And if you get it, we will send you a book and a koozie. Are you going to send a book?
Sure.
Sure? Okay. Whoever gets this one, okay, is going to get a book of each of us. We'll write in it to you. And we'll send you a koozie on top of that. You're going to have to email us, though. And let's see. Let me see. Here's what I want to do. I don't want to get it wrong. So let me do this. Hold up. Give me like 1 second. And let's see. I know the movie. I know the quote that I want to say. And luckily no one can see my yeah, and see, all that's coming to my mind right now are all kind of the I don't want to say dirty quotes, okay? But this movie is, okay, yep. All right, I'm just going to do it, okay? Let's see. No, that's not appropriate. That's not appropriate. Oh my gosh. What am I going to, like every line in the movie, I guess I have to just think of another one. Okay. You think if I said something that was a little off color?
Oh gosh, no.
You think it's okay? Okay.
I think it's okay. Car Talk Reality is excited.
You guys ready? Here we go. You're stewed, buttwad. Who's got it? Who's got it? It's a simple one. Where's my chat?
Weird Science.
Yep, who got it?
Gene McIntyre.
Oh my gosh. Gene got it. Gene was the one I was worried about. And Daryl Duggan. Oh my gosh. I love it. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. That is so awesome.
I think we'll have to give it to Daryl because Gene's already got a book.
Oh, yep. You know what, Gene?
Hide the address.
Was it up there long enough? Okay. All right, sorry. Gene, we got, but you know what? We'll send Gene something else.
Daryl Duggan, CPA, please
Oh.
email us your address.
Is it Duggan or Dugan?
Daryl Dugan.
Daryl. All right, man, I'm loving this.
Anyways, email your address and we will get you a JJ the CPA book and.
Oh, she said she doesn't have Amanda's book.
Gene doesn't?
Shh.
Oh,
We'll get Amanda's book. Okay. All right. I'm kind of blushing over that, but
Oh gosh, honey.
it worked out okay.
Oh, it worked out perfect.
All right. Well, hey, we will see you all tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I think it's working out pretty good there, Amanda, that later tonight I put up a picture and that way people know right where to go and kind of lock in. Last night I just updated the picture to say 4 to 5 and it said there were 4 people waiting. I don't know how that works, but I'm loving it. Tina, thanks for coming in. And Gene and TNG customer service. Did we send something to TNG? Yeah. Okay, TNG, you got something coming. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Major League Baseball, that I could see that one. Steve, Glenda got it. Pronounced Dugan, that's what I was thinking. And let's see, Nicholas got my app to SBA through Lendio. Vernita Wright, we'd like to send you some stuff as well. Need an address. Oh, well, thank you so much, Vernita. I appreciate that. Would you just send us an email? at jj@jjthecpahelp.com, jj@jjthecpahelp.com. Let's see, Amanda has left the room, so let me put that in here in the comments. And let's see. All right, so let's see. Hope one comes through. Card Shop, JJ, if you watched wrestling in the 90s, you're gonna love my surprise coming to y'all later this week. Wrestling? Oh, wrestling. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Crash and Burn, thank you. I saw all the claps too. Kitty O'Sullivan, thank you so much. Nancy H, yes, Darkwater must have done something good. Let's see, I saved my thumbs up till the end. Good, you know what, that's good. Make sure it's a good show. Got to earn my keep here. Eric, JJ, I just got the PPP. Now I'm going through all your videos to prepare myself for repayment. Thanks a lot. Hey, you bet, I appreciate that. And then be sure to check out my website, the forgiveness page. Glenda, I'll be there with bells on. I appreciate that. TNG. Let's see. We got here Mickety, MAQ. Great news. Oh, so hey, Darkwater must have gotten some good news. Darkwater, what's the good news? SBA PPP 8 approved, just got called from the banker. Yes. I'm loving it. All right, Wrath the movie. I'm loving that. Thanks for what you're doing. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Tony, see you tomorrow as well. Daniel, let's see. TNG. Hey, Jason said he got a call from the banker and approved. Woo! Yes. All right. Yes. All right. So everybody, we got Tony tuning in late. Tony, we are... Tony, how are you? I was talking about you earlier. We are tuning out. We'll be here back tomorrow, 4 p.m. We're just excited to know that, or to learn that Jason got his PPP funding. Gene, appreciate you as well. Blair, thank you for always being on. Fred, yes, Fred says he has a quick question. Fred, what is it? Cuban Surfer, let's see. JJ, due to all your PPP advice, I finally got money today. When the lender called me, I knew more than her. She literally didn't know how the forgiveness would work out. Awesome. Well, I'm excited for that. Cuban Surfer, are you out of Venice, California by chance? Are you out of Venice? Roy, let's see, is the ideal have any chance to be back? Yes, Roy, keep an eye on, from Houston, Texas. All right, well, hey, you know what? We will probably be in Houston later this summer, so watch for that. We'd love to meet you. Kelly Thomas, yes, whoop whoop for Jason. Max Payne 2, thank you. Let's see, Frederick, the bank netted subs against, the bank netted subs applied for against sole prop applied for. Isn't that incorrect? If the total of the two entities, shouldn't they be combined? Absolutely, they should be combined. Yeah, definitely not. It's like two apps, but it's like two calculations in one app. In fact, the SBA, if you look at the guidance on 414, the SBA even directly addresses that. If I'm understanding your question correctly, if you have employees and solo proprietor, it's the net 31, line 31, plus the payroll is how that should come into play there. So, all right, Card Shop Reality, be back tomorrow. Going to be a fun week. Thank you so much, Tony. All good. Let's see, Frostbank for Cuban. I'm in LA. I'm from LA. All right. Hey, I was born in Venice, California. Nancy H. Let's see. Yes, Nancy. In case he's okay, he's on. Love you too. Thank you so much, Cuban Surfer. Let's see. Stephen Haas. When is the next live and drink? Fridays. That's what we're gonna do on Fridays. We'll do toasting and happy hour on Fridays. We really appreciate that. Thanks for coming on. We could use one. We got PPP in and now wait. Okay, so you got the app in. Let's see. Thank you. I knew that's what you told me. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, so go set him straight, Fred. Let's see. Chase says I'm in the queue as of 4/9, but they want my Schedule C even though I haven't filed for 19.
Yeah, just get your Schedule C, go to irs.gov. I did a website, or I did a couple of videos on it that are in the PPP self-employed. Now, because of an email we got earlier, if you have cost of goods sold, you're gonna need to include that. You gotta tread lightly. If your Schedule C is not that complicated, maybe you throw it together. Whatever you file with the bank, you're gonna have to file with the IRS the same number. So proceed with caution, but at the end of the day, under what the SBA came out with, you have to have a Schedule C. So you have to have it. So get her done. It doesn't have to have been filed. Let's see. Oh, Vernita Wright, how do you prefer receiving videos? Can I send 1 minute at a time? Working on getting you the entire video all together. I love it, I love it, I love it. You know, whatever's easiest for you, we're easy. If you send them 1 minute at a time, we can piece them together. Part of the reason we're wanting some video is see everybody, how they're just on video. We're not gonna judge it. I mean, in some ways, we just wanna make sure you have the guts to get on the video. That's all that's really required there. And then we are gonna, as we're promoting and talking about it, we're gonna use little snippets, 5 seconds here, 15 seconds there, 30 seconds there. It's part of why we need a little bit of video. But tell us your story. And then I know iCloud, you can send through that. Dropbox, you could probably send a link. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel, but you can set stuff private and shoot it up. But whatever's easiest for you, I look forward to seeing them. Thank you so much. Let's see, Tina Beard says to Amanda, thank you for being there through all this and being supportive of JJ's research. Yes, Amanda says, love you guys. Yes, RJ, I guess it's still not open. They said, SBA said they're still now going through what was previously applied for and getting those all taken care of. So, Brian, you're very kind, very, very, very kind. I appreciate that. Let's see. I can post it. Do you want to see the language of the I don't know what that word is. I can post it here. Let's see. Mickety Mac, love it. Chase customer, I'm a little worried. Max, I'm worried for you. Find a small bank maybe. I don't know that you do anything to pull it out of Chase, but find a small bank, get the process started with them. But Chase may come through, it's hard to know. Screw this, I'm selling my Indigo Steel stock, cashing out till tomorrow's live stream. Vacloom, how long before we know PPP is approved? Boy, it just depends on your bank. 403 Live, Stephen, yes, we were in the queue since the 1st, oh my gosh, and got passed and emailed every other day. All right, well, Stephen, email them, go knock on their door, follow up, call them again, call them again, call them again, and hopefully this will all come through. Nicholas, let's see. Yeah, it's for once it's approved, they're supposed to fund it, like you get your money within 10 days. But then the approval process, I'm just telling you right now, I've got, 4 clients that went to my banker, and within an hour, all 4 are approved, like submitted and approved by the SBA. Money will be here probably tomorrow or Wednesday. So these smaller banks, I'm telling you right now, this bank that I went to, 2 locations, that's it, and 2 locations in smaller towns. That's really the key here. So if you're worried, start looking around, Google it. All right, Nancy H. Yes, Amanda must be tired today. Hang in there, Amanda. This is Nancy. You've been such a great supporter. JJ or us couldn't do it without you. We appreciate you putting up with us and sharing JJ. It's very nice.
Well, I'm just so happy that we're able to help so many people. Truly love you guys.
Yes, Anthony, you won't be able to get the PPP if you don't have employees, so go for the EIDL. Let's see, RJ, thanks. I have been sending your presentation to everybody. Thank you so much, RJ. I really appreciate that. Glenda, feeling confident that by next week I will have my stimulus check, EIDL grant, and word on my UE amount. Good. I'm glad, Glenda, because you deserve it, and it's taken way too long for them to get this pulled together. So I'm loving your outlook, and the universe will take care of that positive outlook, and you're spreading it to everybody that was a part of this live feed. Thank you for everybody. Let's see, Joseph, can you
make a mistake, no amount, and you receive more money? Can you make a mistake, know the amount, and you receive more money? Know the amount. Can you make a mistake? Joseph, if it's with the bank, get with them. If it's with the SBA, get with them. Got my 1200 stimulus on Saturday night. Very good. I'm loving it. Eric, got my money next day after approval from Chase and NYC. Wow, good for you, Eric. Let's see, John, EIDL is a loan and nothing is guaranteed. You must get approved, including the 1,000 grant. Nothing is guaranteed. You must just get approved. That's right. Here we go. Let's watch Amanda pull JJ away from the screen. Let's see. Oh, I signed DocuSign Friday on the PPP. Awesome. Let's see. John Clegg. Yeah, it's so much. It's more of a just making sure that you have not defaulted on a federal loan is kind of what that comes down to. So, all right. Well, we've got 202 likes. We've gone 2 hours and 10 minutes. Thank you, everybody, so much. Jason, congratulations. I'm going to have a cold one in celebration. I'm so glad for you. All right, listen, let's see. Richard Dale, I just found you, but trying to help my daughter who's a realtor in Houston, her app at PayPal. But now no word yet. Do you think we should try somewhere else? You are the best. Thank you so much, RD. Yes. Go to a small bank. I had a number of people email me over the weekend, and PayPal was saying your credit score's not good enough, or you don't have enough credit, or so it was mind-boggling to me. So I don't know how you withdraw from PayPal. I'm not saying that you should withdraw from PayPal. What I'm saying is go find another bank, give them the stuff, see how far they get, because I'm telling you, these smaller banks, 45 minutes, boom. And then try and get a hold of PayPal to go, hey, what are you doing? Like, get us out of your queue. We went somewhere else and they got it done in 45 minutes. But you got to have the timing perfect. You can't really be technically applying in two different spots. But I hate to tell you what to draw back from PayPal and the small bank doesn't work out. But, you know, sometimes before you break up with your first girlfriend, you kind of found your second girlfriend. And then before you decide to, kiss or whatever, you got to go tell the first girlfriend it's over. So my point is that follow those rules of dating and you'll probably be okay on that. All right, listen, let's see, Jen, let's see, Blair, I was gonna tell you an SBA joke, but I think it's more appropriate to make you wait 3 weeks. I love it, I love it. All right, Blair, let's see, Brian Walker, is EIDL through a bank or just the SBA? So the EIDL advance is through the SBA. If you're technically getting something above that, or not technically, you are getting something above that, the SBA Express, that's through the bank. But this EIDL that everybody's throwing around, that's at the SBA. Once you get that, then you are dealing with the bank. All right. Oh, thank you, Richard. I really appreciate that. I really, really do. And hopefully you subscribe, and good luck to your daughter. Keep an eye out. I think you said we're in Houston. We'll be down in Houston sometime this year, and we look forward to that. So let's see. Do you think I get unemployment later after PPP weeks runs out, blah, blah, blah? Yes, Travel Gal, for sure. Whenever you feel like your PPP's been used up for its purpose, get in there and get the PUA. I think that that's fine. I think it's just a matter of Sarah K, Houston, woohoo, love it. I think it's just a matter of not double dipping on purpose. All right, so I'm getting ready to get yanked by my neck by Amanda. And I told her we were going an hour today, and I did kind of get the look, just to be honest with you. So everybody, make sure you mask up, right? Let's be safe, social distancing. And then, hey, check this out. Next week, we will be coming live from my office, because I will be opening the office back up. I've got a fountain view. I have an overlook, a small lake with a big fountain. It's a completely different atmosphere, and I can't wait for you all to see it. And I even got an ooh la 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 out of that. All right, nice to get the office back up, absolutely. All right, listen, it's been a great Monday. Let's have a great week. And I'm telling you right now, if you've got your PPP with the bank, follow up. and not just by email and not an every day. Call them tomorrow till you talk to somebody, see if they can, where am I in line? What's the process? Why are you not telling me yet? Whine and beg and get frustrated, or whatever works with you, do it. Pull out the stops, when you're trying to get your way on something with your husband or your wife, right? Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, right? What do? Right? Do that. How do you get your way with the person that you love the most? How do you get your way? Now, you know what? Now I said that, Amanda, that might not actually be what you want to do in every case. So think, how do you manipulate the one you love? Huh? That would be a good book, right? That'd be a good book. All right, I better roll. Let's rock. All right, let's see. When you come into Oregon, you said, yes, Nicholas, I'm working on a page that is called, what do we call in the tour? Oh, Amanda already took a phone call. We're coming up with a tour name, T-shirts. Oregon, I believe, it's either November or December. But we look forward to seeing you all that. All right, peace, Brian says. All right, we appreciate you all. We'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everybody. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Blair's got it nailed. December 11, 12, 13. Boom. All right. I can't bribe a bank officer. I love it, Brian. Thank you, Vanita. I appreciate it. Look forward to the videos. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks so much. We'll see you, darkwatersmegs.com. Jason, go follow his Instagram. All right, see y'all.